Now, the Steelers situation, I still can't wait to watch this whole thing play out. Because Pickett, I guess what? Did they get the sense that he's just not the guy? You're hearing that coming out, that they soured on Pickett's approach once they got Russell Wilson. Like, oh, Mason Rudolph, I'll compete with. Russ, I'm not competing with. Is the general narrative that's coming out of Pittsburgh right now. And Pittsburgh had already soured, supposedly, on Pickett because he didn't dress in the final game against Seattle when they asked him to, and he declined. And that's what started the souring, which makes no sense because they supposedly wanted to give him that third year after all of that. Until Russ comes along. And then Russ comes along, and they're like, he's going to get the first rep in practice. And Kenny handled that so poorly, he's got to be sent to Philadelphia.
Yeah, he threw a tantrum or something.
Which sounds weird. I'm going to be straight up. Sounds weird. And Pickett refused to, comment on it. And then they go get Justin Fields, who finishes up his Chicago career like such a house of fire that he's going to be the backup no matter what. Because they got to see what Russ has.
As of March 19th.
It's wild. That one is weird. But again, if the general manager is not on the hot seat and can make moves like, all right, we're going to use a first-round pick on a quarterback, not just any quarterback, but a kid that the entire fan base knows because he played his entire college career here. And as a matter of fact, we know because we share a building with that college program. And this is great. And he's not ready. We'll have Trubisky start, and then we'll sit Trubisky, and then we'll throw him in there. And he'll have his usual ups and downs as a rookie quarterback, but he'll show some really unique ability to flip it, switch in the fourth quarter, and win some football games. And then give him the shot to start the next year. And he's up and down again, more down than up, gets hurt, and he's done. Here. And now he's got to go to Philadelphia and get reps whenever he can and hope for his Sam Darnold chance, his Baker Mayfield chance. Yeah. So it seems like these are the way pro careers are going for these kids coming out of college. Either you get a shot right out of the gate and are a house of fire, or you wind up like Pickett, Fields, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Who else? I mean, who else has been drafted of recent years? Sam Darnold, did I mention him?
Earlier.
Okay. Like, that's the way it's going right now.
Yeah. Also, Rich, you mentioned Trubisky, Crazy. And I've said this before. That's the reason the Bears can't pass up on Caleb. They passed up on Patrick Mahomes version 1.
No doubt.
They could not take and risk the chance of not getting version 2.
That is correct.
So they had to make this move.
I agree. All of it. None of it's wrong.
We obviously don't know what the Steelers' schedule will be, but if I give you week 7 for kind of the over-under of when the conversation is going to get so loud of, they should just go to Fields now.
I don't know. They Russ gets the start. They'd have to be under 500.
Like, what week does it really start?
If you're saying
loud?
week 7, they'd have to be under 500
like 2
and
5.
The rest of the division doing what you expect them to do.
Yeah.
With division losses already on the ledger. It would have to be.
I'm just wondering. I guess my question is like how short is Russ's leash?
I don't know.
Like how quick?
I have no idea because the stuff that you're hearing coming out of Pittsburgh, based on all the reporting from all the people that we have on as guests or I am colleagues with at NFL Network, is that they're handing it off to Russ. This is his gig. So you'd have to figure the runway would be long.
But on March 19th, barring injury, we would all be shocked if he starts all 17 games?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because here's what. They're clearly into him. And I just maybe I'm the eternal optimist here, but I just think that Russ has got to know. He's got to know. This is last chance saloon. It really is. It really is. That after Denver went the way it went, which is they gave up so much for him, and then they paid him a monster contract on which he wound up playing a grand total of 0 downs. 2 coaches with offensive, if you will, resumes or pedigrees. One of them who is never been a head coach before, and the other one is the very definition of success in the NFL with a trophy in the case in Sean Payton. And both of them wound up having just 1 year with him. One of them had less than 1 year because he got fired. And the other one had every ounce of power in the organization to be able to say, hey, listen, Walmart folks, we're going to have a sale. And you're going to end up, we're going to have $85 million on the stick over 2 years, to the point where even if we draft a rookie quarterback, we lose all the benefits of having a rookie contract because we're going to be paying somebody else dead cat money. And that is on Russ's resume, whether he deserves it or not. Like, that happened. And if he had more success, it wouldn't have happened. He would have been sitting there in Denver on a Hall of Fame track for sure. Instead, he's now in Pittsburgh. Again, nothing is more serious for a quarterback of his stature than flying commercial through Newark.
I still love it. That was the key right there.
I love that.
All right.
That was the key.
It's true. I didn't go home.
All right.
I have to land there.
If you're a Hall of Fame quarterback with as much in the bank as someone like Russ, you're flying commercial through Newark?
No, absolutely
Sure.
not. No.
We should have 3
Maybe. Maybe.
No. Come on.
Maybe through JFK. But Newark? So that's what I'm saying. It's like, this is it for him.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed, coming off of the last 2 years, that he would have found an organization that not only would have him come in, but have him come in as the clear starter. Like, this is his gig. And I think he knows this. And I think maybe, just maybe, whatever, there's been some self-stock taken on whatever happened the last 2 years. I don't know. I just saw a sit down with him. He looks like he's cut some weight. Like, he looks like he's ready to roll. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and if he shows up and takes the Steelers to the playoff, if they win a conference championship appearance, if they win the division, if he takes the black and gold with Tomlin to a spot where we haven't seen in years, after the Steelers fans are all like sick and tired of this, if he does that.
Black and gold. Here we go.
Now, again, I know that people have their fun with that because that's the sizzle, and we need to see the steak, as I mentioned yesterday.
It doesn't even sound like he believes it.
Because,
hearing him
well,
say
it's
it.
because he says it with the same vigor as Go Hawks and Broncos country, let's ride. And you know, how could he? He's been there a week. Like, it wasn't even, he left from Newark because he had just visited with the Giants. So what it would be, go Big Blue if they gave him the same opportunity as the Steelers? That's why it's tough for us to believe it.
Jets Nation, take flight.
That's what I mean. You know, like, so just fill in the blank that he would have said that with the same vigor, which is why it's tough for us to believe. But I believe that he does have the knowledge of, like, that's a 25-year-old kid who runs like a deer and runs faster than me and takes more sacks than me, but he can run faster away from the sack than me. And if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, they're going to go to him.
I'll be honest, guys. I'm not a tape guy, but when you keep hearing how Russ, this is the end and this is his last chance, it's like you look at last year, right? The guy had the ninth most touchdown passes in the NFL.
No, I know.
Guys like Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts and even Patrick Mahomes threw almost double the picks.
I know. And by the way,
so it's weird to hear like Mark Schlereth, who is definitely not a Russ fan, say things like this guy's over and this is his last chance. It's like when you're a fan, like And you look at these stats, you're like, what are these guys?
Yeah, but
talking
some of
about?
those touchdowns were just like thrown up to Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, well, everyone's touchdowns are like that, Rich.
I
How many
get
times
that.
have we
And
seen
he
a
also
quarterback throw a 10-yard slant and the guy takes it 80 to the house?
and Russ also beat Mahomes and Josh Allen last year. So I get it.
So that's why
I
I'm
understand
confused.
what you're saying. It just didn't look very efficient and pretty, and it didn't look dominant. It looked like it was struggling, that there would be quarters upon quarters where the struggle was real. It didn't help that the coach was like airing them out in front of the whole country in Detroit. We learned that there was stuff going on behind the scenes and everything, and it's just a lot of drama that you don't normally associate with the Steelers welcoming that into their house, and it's not a lot of Russ's fault. I'm just saying that Russ has got to know that if it doesn't happen here, who else is going to say, we'll take a 36-year-old version of that? And he's in a great spot with a team that is loaded.
Mm-hmm.
They are. And set
ball.
up to run an offense that will suit him. But there is also a 25-year-old ready to take his job. Fascinating. Story of the year right now, I think, going into the NFL campaign. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.